guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all enjoying your weekend. My weekend consists of fitting an air fan today, a Maxx air fan. This one was removed from my previous van, which was the Iveco Daily. I was trying to save as much money as I could because obviously drastic measures, change of plan, obviously switching the van up, as you all know. I didn't want to have to buy another air fan, which is over £400. So what I did before I sold the Iveco is I cut the old Maxx air fan out, so I unscrewed it all, cut all the sealant out, and I went online onto eBay and I bought a, is it Fama? I don't know how you pronounce it. 400 by 400 square vent, which is just a manual wind up air vent. So I bought that for £70, I think it was, including post and package, off eBay. And I took the Maxx air fan out of the old van and slopped that straight into the existing hole that was already there, cleaned it all up, siliconed all that in, and yeah, job's a good one. Van has now basically been sold, and the that unit is now in there. So I have now got my old Maxx air fan unit, which is fantastic. So I'm going to get this one installed today into the Citroen. So that's another nice job ticked off my list. I also am going to have a go at possibly, depending on the time, installing the reverse camera. I had a little play around with it the other night just to see how it sort of goes, and I have actually fitted the unit to the van, but it's not wired in. So I'm going to go through the wiring process with you all, because there's a couple of ways you can do it. One, you can have it as just a rear view camera, which I think a couple of people have done on their videos, where you have to turn the screen on. I'm actually going to tap into the reverse light feed, put the positive into that and ground it off onto the chassis, so then when I put the van into reverse, it lights up the camera. It ignites the power and lights up the camera, because that's how I want it set up. I want it as a reverse camera, because I don't need it for anything else, because I'm going to have CCTV installed on the van anyway, so there's no point having that doing the same sort of job. So yeah, today's job, just cleaning up the silicone off of the old surround for this. I'm just about to make a frame with some 25mm batten, which is more than enough. It's what I used in the last one. Just going to make a frame that sits around the inside here. It goes in here nice and square, so then it's got something solid to go into. And the nice thing with these vans are, on the Citroen Relays, the Ducatos and the Boxers, I think it's got a nice flat area on the top of the roof, which I'll show you in a minute, which the air fan can sit on. So yeah, we'll speed this little process up, because you probably don't want to watch me cutting wood, and see if we can get this installed today. Cool. Okay, so now we have our frame, as you can pretty much see there, just 25mm batten I've cut, and it's neatly around there, around the actual surround of the Maxx air fan. So now what I'm going to do is just drill some holes through, just pilot drill some holes through, screw all this together so it's a nice tight frame on here, so it's nice and tight, and we'll take that off and use that as a template like I did on the last van, and then we'll be able to cut our hole in the roof, and hopefully it all goes according to plan. I have just realised I've run out of sealant, so I will need to go and get some of that. But it's a nice sunny day, and we're going to crack on. Okay, so frame's knocked up, should fit nicely on the inside of the vent. Obviously this is the top of the vent, where the top of the fitting where the Maxx fan goes onto, and then this protrudes into the van. So I've made a frame, so that 25mm batten that should slot over that. Absolutely, that is proper snug, that is. There you go, nice and snug, so snug it doesn't even come off. Perfect. So yeah, that was just 25mm batten. Just used a skill saw to cut. That's the one. Say hi, Nicky Allen. Used a skill saw to cut, and then just pre-drilled all the holes and screwed it all together. So now we use that as a template on top of the roof to mark out for the Maxx fan, and we'll sharpie all that out on the roof so it's nice and neat. Pre-drill some holes, jigsaw all the way around, and hopefully the Maxx fan should just drop in. They say anyway, we'll see. Okay, so that is the mount for the air fan. I've templated it, measured it from here to here to get the centre point. It's a nice flat area on these Citroen relays. We've got a nice flat panel, and that is our cutout. It's going to be a little bit wider, obviously, because you've got to make sure with these Maxx air fans that you don't measure for this using this as your measurement, because it would be too small. You've got a little 5mm bezel all the way around, and obviously that has got to be also inside the van, because this bit you need flat on the van. So measure 400, because this is 400 from here to here and here to here. So I drew around the inside of this, and then I measured from my centre point 200 that way, 200 that way, 200 that way, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? So then I can bring it out to here, square it off, square it off, square it off. Maybe a backwards way of doing it. I'm not great at maths, but it worked last time when I did it on the Iveco. So let's give it a bash. Just angle that up a bit so you can see. So basically, we've templated it out. We've got our jigsaw with a new metal blade in it. I have marked 4 pilot holes, 2, 3, 4 in the corners. I'm going to pre-drill a hole in the corners. Get those out of the way, don't want those dangling down. So we pre-drill a hole here. This is just a 3mm drill bit. And I've already masked the underneath with a black bin liner just to take all the metal filings. Just put 4 holes in there, it's nice and easy then. Okay, and then we switch that drill bit out for a 6mm, which is the size of the jigsaw blade in width, so that should be nice. We'll slowly go through, gosh, straight through. One thing I did forget to bring up is a dustpan and brush. Get the metal filings here. Oh, there's the bin liner. We'll do it after. This is always a daunting process. Nobody likes drilling holes in vans. And listen, I'm no professional by any stretch, but I quite enjoy doing it in a really weird way. So anyway, that now jigsaw should go in there, which it does just. So I might largen it actually to a 6.5. It's a little bit tight. I don't want the blade to catch whilst I'm going round. So I'll probably do a 6.5, and then we'll start trimming round corner to corner, file off the edges, and don't forget to use some primer to stop it rusting. We'll dry fit the unit, make sure it's all okay. We'll check the measurements again just in case we need to file out any little edges, just to make sure it's all nice and square, but I'm pretty happy with my measurement. I've measured twice, cut once. So yeah, fingers crossed. So let's get jigsaw. And I forgot to say, guys, remember, safety first. I haven't got any safety goggles, but I've got some shooting goggles, which I use for shooting. So I'm pretty sure these will be good enough. So we've got our 8mm drill bit. Now we're going to go to work. Well, that went smoother than I thought. We now have a hole in the van. The black bag worked really well, so I slowly peeled it down, and there it is on the top of the counter there with all the metal filings in. And there's only a few around the sides here, which I'm just going to use the dustpan and brush, which I've now got, to clean up. That hole looks pretty damn good to me. Little area just there, which I've just got to obviously just go around with the jigsaw again, and a bit there, and a bit there, obviously there where we've drilled. But we'll file those up as well after I've jigsawed them, just so it's nice and clean. Obviously this edge is very, very sharp, so just be careful. Get a nice file on it and give it a good going over, and then treat it with some primer and some anti-rust, just to stop it from spreading anywhere. And then we'll dry fit the unit. Okay, so the moment of truth. Have we cut it to the right size with my dodgy measuring? Oh, yes. That, look at that. Perfect. It's sat flush on the roof, which is where I wanted it. It's got a little bit of play, which is what you always want, because you can just adjust it, tweak it all up, and make sure it's absolutely square. So I've overcut it. I actually did the measuring 410 millimeters by 410 millimeters square. So it just gives you that extra bit of play, which is what you want, just so you can just level it out and make sure it's not on the piss, shall we say. But that is sitting perfectly, exactly how I wanted it. When I put the frame up underneath now and I screw that up, that is going to sit flush to that roof. Exactly why I like these Citroen relays. They've got the perfect spot for the Maxx air fan. Really happy with that. Now let's get cracking. And there we have it, guys, from the inside. So the frame, as I made earlier, fits absolutely perfect all the way around, nice and neat. And that is clamped up. Once that's all screwed in and clamped up, that will sit perfectly, and it'll have a nice solid fixing to go into. And what a beautiful sky today. Oh. Okay, so all good. We dry fitted the unit. Unit fits in there absolutely perfect, so I'm really happy with that. Wooden frame is stuck up underneath, which is excellent. And I've just put some sealer all the way around, a bead on the van and then a bead on the actual frame, and it's oozing out the side, which is always a good sign. So there's a nice solid contact there. Just going to pre-drill with a 3mm drill bit through the holes, and then put the screws through the plastic trim into the batten that I've put up underneath. And hopefully that should give us a nice solid frame to work with. That's always the plan anyway. Okay, so made a bit of a boo-boo, but we fixed it. This is all clamped in, screwed in and sealed in as neatly as I can kind of do it. I'm just going to wipe around the edges with a bit of these big cleaning wipes. They're actually really good. But I'm happy with that so far. Okay guys, we made a boo-boo. I'm not a carpenter and I didn't really think about it. I made a great frame, nice and strong, but the batten, I didn't calculate the width of the batten. It was too narrow. It's only 40mm batten. So once that goes onto the outside of the inside of the Maxx fan, and you put it up, put the screws through the top, you can see here the screws were totally missing the batten and just going into the sides. Although it felt quite tight up there, this in fact was actually doing absolutely nothing. I'm not having that. So I found some roofing batten in my garden, which is 50mm wide. I've just measured it, it's going to be perfect. So we're going to smash that frame out quickly and do it again. It's got to be right. Okay, so second attempt, perfect, all good. So we used 50mm roofing batten. I should have thought about it and I just didn't. But anyway, 50mm roofing batten is the one to use. All the screws are in, it's all sealed in. From the inside I've sealed in from the top, gone around it nicely with a bead, screwed all the screws down obviously into the wood, and it's clamped up and that is nice and tight. So I'm happy with that now. It's taken a lot longer than I thought, but haven't been on it all day. I actually shot out for half the day. But we're done, we're going to fit the unit and hopefully it all looks good. Well, that's the wrap for today, I think. Maxx fan's in, it's all bolted down. I'm just going to wind it down now, but I'm happy with that. It took a lot longer than I thought, just due to a few issues my end, but we're all good and we're in. And that's it from the inside. So Maxx fan is in, just going to wind it down now. And that is nice and tight down and we're in. Good job done today, but I haven't got half the jobs done that I wanted to get done, and the van is looking like an absolute mess. So we're gonna have a good clear up and call it a day. Okay, it's a little bit pissed. Yeah, I'm not sure if any of this is gonna work. I am definitely no electrician, but so we've cut the wires for the interior light and used Wago clips and connected the positive wire into it and negative wire into it. We've connected the video feed. I've dropped down this plastic tray, which you can see just about flapping around, which is in the headlining to give me a bit more space. And I've put all the cables up there. So now I suppose is the ultimate test, I suppose, to see if we have power. So what we need to do is plug the interior light back in and see if we have any power. I don't know if this is right or not. I'd be honest, I really don't hold any hope in myself with this at all, because I'm tired and I've probably messed something up. But let's put that in there. Let's see if we have power, which we don't. So that's not a good start, is it? No power. Okay, maybe it's because of the ignition. No, because it should definitely still work without the ignition. So yeah, so it's not a good start already, guys. We have no power, so something's not fully connected well. I don't know. Yeah. Oh well. Okay, so update. We have power. I just fiddled around with the Wago clips, pushed them in a bit harder, and yeah, we have power. That's a good sign. Now let's see if the other end works to the screen. If that works, I'm a happy man. I'm going to have myself a nice cup of tea. So these are really pinicky, these little things. You want to make sure that the little dot lines up with the little dot on there, otherwise you bend all the pins like that. So that goes in and we've got power. Bosh. Okay, I'm happy with that. Although, does it go off? We don't want it constantly on, do we? It should go off when you lock the van, because that's off the interior light and that's on auto. So if we put that on auto, we can turn it off anyway. We can also turn it on. Alright, I'm happy with that. So we got power, that's the main thing. We are good. So now I'm going to tidy all the wires, put it all back, make sure all the ends are clipped and there's no live cables anywhere. Just put a bit of tape around the video cable just so that doesn't come apart. And I might even attempt the rear bit, seeing as we're getting on well with this. So yeah, basically, camera's up there. So the brake light is tapped into the existing brake light wire loom that comes in, because obviously as I said before, the new one doesn't come with a plug, so you just have to connect it. My LED lens light's about to run out. And then what I've done is I've run the power cables for the camera. So they're ran down this channel here, all the way down, and I basically extended them just using some black cable, and I've heat shrinked them all together so they're all nice and neat and connected correctly. I then used a multimeter, obviously disconnected the plug in there, which is for the brake, the rear lamp. I then took the cap off the end of that plug and put the multimeter positive onto each one whilst the van was turned off, but obviously ignition on in reverse. And then obviously once you get the strong reading, which was about 12.2 volts, whatever it was, off the multimeter, you know which one to tap into. And on this case, on the Citroen relays, let me just get my light in there. Sorry for the bad filming, guys. Hang on. I'm trying to get it in. It's dark, pitch black dark. But in this case, it's basically the, I can't really see, it's the grey wire, which is the middle wire on the bottom of the plug on the relays, is the reverse light feed. I then extended the negative cable, and there's a nice bolt there already that was all in the chassis. This is earthing some of the electrics in the vehicle. I just tapped onto that, and yeah, all good. So van is running. Let's just have a look, make sure I've still got power. Turn the screen on just so I know I've got power. Yeah, ignore the tape, that's just where I've holding the adhesive on till the morning. But if we put it in reverse now, bosh, can't really see because of the tape, but the camera is on. So yeah, really happy. Sensors are working still, reverse lights are working, and the camera's working. Take it out, bosh, off it goes. Happy days. Now I am definitely out of it. Catch you later, guys.